Hey, I know nobody's really watching my videos, but I'm putting them out there anyway. I was watching Ben Shapiro and I can't remember her name. Stuckey is her last name. They're talking about dating advice. I have 2 daughters myself. And they were talking about a lot of different things, consequences and things like that. I personally, my dating advice would, for most people, and I've been married for 20 years now, that I heard them say that I've said a lot, would be, when you're dating someone and you figure out you could never marry this person, then the dating is pointless. There's no end game. It's a waste of time. And ending a relationship before you get too caught up in it is always easier. Now, as someone who really had a hard time breaking a girl's heart, I couldn't be the one to break up with the other one. It's just, I couldn't do it. It was extremely hard for me. I typically would do something to make them break up with me. But I still felt that way. When you can't marry someone, it's no longer viable. I mean, there's no point. So in saying that, I had many girlfriends. None of them were really serious. Till one. It went very badly because the motivation was wrong. She told me she was pregnant. I screwed up and went there with her when I shouldn't have, and I tried to be a good guy and do the right thing and stay with her and the baby, and it was a relationship that was never going to work. But I tried putting the baby first and stayed with her for the baby's benefit. Also, not going to work. But throughout the relationship, she claimed miscarriage, then pregnant again, then miscarriage. And like every time we would get good while she was pregnant, eventually she would say, "Oh, I had a miscarriage," before she would start to show. Come to find out, it was all lies. But I was 16, I didn't know better, and finally we ended, and she moved on, and it allowed me the opportunity to reevaluate my priorities, and I got lucky, but then I ended up meeting a woman that her personality and my personality helped each other. She was a very reserved individual, not very open. And I was extremely open. I wanted to be the center of attention. She's like, "No, I'd rather sit back in the corner and all." And I was able to help her be more forward in some ways. And she helped me rein myself in and be more professional when I need to be professional. Among many other things, but it was definitely opposites attract, except our sense of values were matched. the kind of things we believed in politically matched, types of things we believed in morally matched. Basically the core of us, of our beliefs and all matched up, but the details were opposites, that kind of thing. And it meant we were a very, very good fit. Of course, we've had our issues through 20 years, but I would not have likely been able to have the positives that we've had and the level of commitment that we've had with anybody else. Okay, if I'm being real, maybe, but she was the person that fit me, and so that's who I proposed to. And 20 years down the road, we're still together, and we're really good, in my opinion. We still have minor issues here and there, but I think we're really good. But we have 2 daughters, and that is tough for a guy. To have 2 daughters and know the way men think, the way men are. And I think men and women, as far as children are concerned, handle it differently. Men are, guys in general are bad. They are not good. They want bad things. They want to do bad things. They, stay away from boys. It's all their fault. But then you have women, such as my wife, tells my daughter, look for a good guy. There are good guys out there. And of course, I think of myself as a good guy. And I want my daughters to find someone that they match up well, like my wife and I. But all I can think of whenever I talk to my daughters about dating is the way I was as a teenager, what I wanted, what I was looking for. And it wasn't always wholesome. Even though I thought of myself as a good guy then, and I do now. I don't believe, I was evil or anything like that, but I did have bad thoughts, and should a girl have been interested in some of those thoughts, I ran with it. I hoped for it, when dating a girl. So I tried to inform my girls that guys are that way, that, if you put yourself out there, the guy's gonna take advantage of it, period. I try to teach my kids modesty, and I know nowadays that's not a good thing, according to society, but it really is. And I think it boils down to something else. The whole world has gone into this instant gratification thing. I do what I want when I want, and I don't need to feel ashamed about it. And okay, I kind of get that. But at the same time, take money, for instance. It's not moral, immoral, anything like that. It's amoral. If every time you get paid, say you're irresponsible, say you're not a responsible person, and you go spend every dime you have on things you want. Damn, now the rent's come due and I can't pay my rent. Well, what are you going to do? Eventually, you'll either change your ways or you're going to have a hard time surviving. Sorry, my dad was calling. Or you go kind of in between. Whenever you get paid, you make sure to pay your bills, and then you spend whatever's left on whatever you want. And okay, well, you're somewhat responsible. You're handling what needs to be handled, and then you're blowing what's left. Or you can be really responsible and pay your bills and then put the rest away. And right now, it kind of sucks. You're not doing a lot of what you want. You're not going to the movies. You're not going out to eat. You're not doing things like that. But you're building up money in your bank. And you could look at it the really responsible way. And, well, when your car breaks down, now you have money in the bank to go fix it with. So you're not screwed when that comes around. Kind of like the not paying your rent. When your rent comes due and you don't have any money left, you're screwed. Well, you put a little money away, and when emergencies happen, you're not screwed. Or you could look at it even further. You're saving money, and your car is getting older, and so on and so forth. Well, then, your car finally gives out, and you were the one that saved money, every chance you could, and well, now you've got, $50,000 in the bank, 4 years down the road, 5 years down the road. Your bills are all caught up and paid, and you've handled what you needed to handle, but you've always tried to put money away. Well, now your car's crapping out, and you've got a choice: either replace the motor or buy a new car. Well, with that $50,000 in the bank, that gives you an option to just go pay cash for the car and not have any fees. Well, you've been paying on this car already, and you just paid it off, or hell, you didn't pay it off, but this place will let you trade it in, or pick up that note on top of the other one, or you've got $50,000 in the bank. Okay, I'll spend the other $2,000 to pay this off, and not spend another $5,000 to replace the motor. I'll just spend $20,000 and buy a brand new car that's under warranty for whatever, and I won't have any payments. So the payment I was spending on this car can now go into the bank too, along with all the other money. And then do that for another 5 or 10 years, and we'll say 5 years, and well, now you've got nearly $100,000 in the bank, and you've gotten married, and you've had a couple of kids, but you've been doing this your whole life, ever since you were 16. And well, now you and your wife are married, and you're in this little bitty house, and you've got a kid on the way, and well, now you need another house. Well, you've got $100,000 sitting in the bank, and you decide, hey, we're gonna buy a house. Well, now your credit's great because you've been keeping up with all of this stuff, and you decide to buy a house. Well, now you have one hell of a down payment, and say you don't go all out. Say you buy a $200,000 house, and you spend $30,000. It's 15% for the down payment, and then you've got $70,000 to fix anything that needs fixed in the house and furnish it, brand new stuff. Or you could be still living paycheck to paycheck, because you spent money to make yourself happy at the moment, or you chose to put off happiness and then end up in a better position later. I mean, all of life has those kinds of choices. Dating is no different. Do you want instant gratification now? As a guy, a lot of guys, they want sex. Sex. Do you want to have sex now? And, well, possibly have child support on however many kids for the rest of your life that you don't get to see very much because they don't live with you and they're with other women, and and all that. Do you want sex right now and possibly end up with something you can't wash off? I mean, there's all of this, or just in general, have sex with all these women. It's never really important, but now you meet someone that you really are good with, you like a lot, and then she says, well, how many people have you been with? And, oh, well, I was with 20 girls. Yeah. Wait, really? 20 girls? And then you have to deal with, were they better than me? Were they cuter than me? Were they hotter than me? And all this stuff. And it's baggage that comes with instant gratification choices. And it's with everything in life. So being sure when you're dating somebody before you take a step like that is big. I mean, it really is. It's big. Nobody considers it nowadays, but it truly is a big decision, And, okay, if you're doing the little junior high, high school, oh, this is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend, we hang out at school, and sometimes they come over, but, you don't really go there. Okay, that lets you know, personality-wise, what you're into, what you're not into, and okay, whatever. Once you start taking those more serious steps, though, that society says isn't serious, it affects the future, more. Having daughters, modesty is an issue. You be proud of your body, this, that, and the other. Yes, be proud of your body. But I also see when you're proud of your body, you're not giving it away, for people to see. You're not a walking strip show. If you're proud of your stuff, they have to earn being able to see that side of you. I mean, my wife was that way, and I valued it tremendously. I'm like, she really respects herself. And she's not willing to let just anybody see that side of her. And that made me feel special. I was the person who she allowed there. I've dated girls who weren't that way, who showed off every chance they got, and I'm like, they do that for everybody. I didn't feel special. I didn't feel like I was selected for any particular purpose. Yeah, I mean, just the way it is. I mean, and I try to get them to understand that, but modesty does more than just cover you. I mean, there's more to it than that. And all of life is like that. It's all deeper. Politics, everything. Someone who chose to support Trump, they're not supporting him because he's a dick on social media or, a dick to people in the past. That's not why they support him. They support him in spite of that. Same goes with Hillary Clinton. I mean, she did things that weren't good. There were different things, but I mean, she supported her husband, which some could see as a good thing, but attacked the women who were attacking him, trying to shut them down. And, all right, are you helping him be a victimizer, or what's the deal? But people still supported her. She made a call that got the guys in Benghazi killed. People still supported her. So you don't support a person because of that. You support them in spite of their flaws. You're making a judgment call is what they are likely to be able to do to benefit our country worth enough to not necessarily overlook, but to not hold their mistakes so highly against them, and that's what it boils down to. I mean, all of life has all of these, a word I hate hearing, that people all use, nuance. Everything in life has nuance. You've got to know the whole story to make a more educated guess, and the same goes with dating. If you just don't know, what it's all about, I mean, you've got to learn sooner or later. You either learn the hard way by doing it and then making the choice, maybe that wasn't such a good idea, or talking to those who've been there before and formulating your choices based on information you've heard, read, or seen versus experienced. It's personal choice, and everybody has it in a free country, but you also have the responsibility of dealing with the consequences that come from it, from those choices. It's kind of like dating. I'm not saying that if a guy assaults a woman, it's her fault if she dressed provocatively, but you can more likely prevent things like that from happening by being a certain type of person, more modest, not willing to trust anybody and everybody without them proving themselves. But anyway, I'm being interrupted, so it's time to go.